would you cope living in 1927? No TV, no mobile phones, no central heating, and every chance that each day at work could be your last. Welcome to life in the coal house. Three Welsh families will be saying goodbye to 2007 and going back to the hardship of mining life in 1920s Wales. The men will be spending their days grafting underground, digging coal by hand. The women will struggle to make ends meet in cold, cramped cottages. And the children will be going back to a very different kind of school. You might think that these people are mad for putting themselves through this experience, but the next 3 weeks will give them and us a unique insight into what life was like for all our ancestors.
Let's go.
In this special Coal House preview, you'll get to see how our families were chosen, how we're transporting them back to 1927.
It is absolutely freezing in here.
And just how unbearably tough it's going to be for all of them.
You just ache in places you never thought you could actually ache.
Can they hack the reality of living in the past? Back in March, you might remember seeing a trailer on BBC Wales asking for 3 families to go back to 1927, and over 150 families applied.
We're looking for 3 families to go back in time and appear in the new BBC Wales reality programme, Coal House.
The essence of this is those families are going to tread in the footsteps of their forefathers. They are going to feel the resonances of what powered Wales and the world and the empire coming through 80 years of history.
I think they're pretty nervous. I don't know why, though. We'll see it in their eyes straight away.
In May, 12 families were chosen to take part in a special selection day with the British Army at the Cartri Army Camp.
OK, let me introduce myself. I'm Captain Colin Jones. I'm from the Royal Welsh. I'm also the Officer Commanding of the Army Recruiting Team, Combat Wales 1. Basically, what we're looking for today is going to put you under a little bit of pressure, but at the end of the day, to be very honest with you, we're looking for you basically to react to that pressure. What I'm looking for is the thinkers, I'm also looking for the workers, but I'm also looking for some team effort.
Can you start moving a bit faster?
Families were split into groups, separating men, women and children. They were then given tasks designed to test teamworking, leadership skills and physical endurance, as well as introducing them to some of the realities of 1920s living.
Oh, this just reminds me of having babies.
I'm enjoying walking around in the mud and stuff.
A team of experts monitored their progress, including Coal House psychologist Philippa Davis.
We were looking for families with a distinctive identity rather than distinctive individuals. So we were looking for them to be quite physically tough, because they're going to have to live in hard conditions. We were looking for them to be team players.
32 seconds left.
And we were looking for how extrovert or introvert they were.
I
went up to Blaenavon and I asked people in the community there, what is the main criteria you need to survive in a mining community? And I was quite surprised at the answer. They said the ability to gossip. No, we didn't test that on the day. It's very difficult. But
I thought you were going to say, patience and understanding and a sense of community.
No, it's about the ability to gossip. Because in those 3 cottages, I think they're going to be in and out of one another's houses a lot. There's going to be no PlayStations, Game Boys, tellies for the kids. So the ability to make their own social life is going to be quite important.
So, we've seen Selection Day, but who are our 3 lucky families? Let's go and meet them. The Phillips family from Cowbridge are Dad Richard, Mum Stephanie and 6 children, Jade, Ryan, Katie, Daniel, Rodri and Gwenan.
I would describe them as a little bit new age. They've got 6 children. They're a bit tree huggery. They like communing with nature. They keep chickens. But they are very, earth-loving, peace, hippie types. Fascinating, actually. And, of course, they're going to be very crowded in their house. So we'll see how they... And they may end up being the centre of the community, I think, just because they have got all these children,
Yes.
Tell me, what made you apply for this show?
It was Richie's idea in the first place.
Oh, was it?
I saw the advert on the TV and phoned up about it, yeah, so it's my fault.
So are all the children happy about it at the moment?
Yeah, well, I think like all of us, we're not exactly sure to, what we're going to come up against. So it's very, very hard to get, geared up for something you don't know what it really is. So it's all a bit of a mystery at the moment.
You probably stand to gain more out of it, maybe, than a family who are actually, find it easier to spend time together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have that opportunity very often.
Quite looking forward to it. It's a sort of holiday for us, I think. I don't want to say that now. Look stupid when we get in there.
Yeah, I'll
but,
come
you
and
know,
talk to you when you come out. And,
I think it's certainly going to be harder, you know, especially for Steph with the nappies. There's going to be, like washing it and boiling the water, obviously, is going to be a major thing. So, you know, twice as much as anyone else. So Steffi's going to have to do twice the work of everyone else, really.
yeah.
The Griffiths family from Cardigan are Dad Cerdyn, Mum Deborah, and their children Steffan, Angharad, and Gethin.
The Griffiths, they are again culturally, I think, quite different because, of course, their first language Welsh. They're extremely Welsh in their orientation. They're very emotional and expressive. They seek approval quite a lot, which I think, you know, first language West Wales, and I say that as one myself, tend to do.
Remind me, which one of you was it that applied for the show?
It was me that applied for the show, but I could blame Steffan for it, can't I, Steffan?
Yeah. I thought it'd be nice for 3 weeks off work, you know. But I'm changing my mind now. I can't go to sleep now.
Oh no!
When I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, I think I won't turn the lights on now.
Oh look, it's
I'll start practising.
Now that's proper research.
Yeah.
Because I hear, aren't you a little bit concerned about the dark?
Yes, well, I'm claustrophobic as well, I think. Don't laugh.
You do strike me though as a family that has a huge sense of humour and that you're going to be able to rely on one another.
We do stick together, don't
Except
we?
when we're hungry.
I'm not the best of cooks in 2007, let alone 1927. I mean, I will cook roasts and things like that, but my pastry's like this.
Even the dogs won't eat it. Well, to be honest, I'm worried about the webcams in there.
The webcams?
Yes.
Which incidentally is bbc.co.uk/cohouse. Why are you worried about the webcam?
Bath time.
Bath time.
Yes.
Are you a shy man? Are you a shy man? Are we happy
Yes.
to be bathing in front?
He doesn't mind. You said you didn't mind showing your bottom, didn't you?
Yeah. So I show you bottom, innit? So the parts I'm worried about.
What do you think about this? Your father's preparing to show his bottom on national television.
Probably going to be embarrassing because it's going to be dirty as well.
The Cartri family from Penarth are Dad Joe, Mum Annabelle, and their 2 daughters Gwen and Kitty.
The Cartwrights, who I would call an alpha family. They're a family of very bright people. Dad's a professor of geology, Mum's an astrophysicist. The girls are very articulate and very bright. And I think that may mean they're very competitive in some ways, and it'll mean they'll be very keen to achieve well.
What made you apply for this adventure?
Oh, they're all pointing at me because it was me that did it. I just find it very interesting going to historical places and seeing what people's lives were like, and particularly what working people's lives were like. I just couldn't resist the idea of actually stepping into somewhere like that and living the life for a little while.
What do your friends think about this?
I think incredulity, really, that somehow we're doing it and it's not some other family. I don't know what that says about us, but yeah, mixed reactions. Colleagues are either really intrigued or sort of, oh, you know, and move the conversation quickly on.
Have you done any research into that period?
I've read a couple of amazing books, and it's sort of making me really worried, the thought of 8 hours a day piecework, so whatever I shift in the way of coal tonnage is what's going to determine food in their bellies.
How much have they actually told you about what is going to happen once you're there?
Not very much, and it's slightly unnerving, I have to say. I would like to know, because I like numbers, and I'd like to have a budget. I'd like to know how much money I've got. I'd like to have prices, be thinking menus, you know, what am I going to have to do? I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to live on or not, and if I haven't, what do I do?
Hopefully I'll get through it. I'm just a bit worried about killing chickens, because they said that we might have animals and we might have to kill a chicken, and I think I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, but if we were hungry enough, we could eat chicken. I'm sure of it. But I wouldn't be able to kill a pig.
Gwen's slightly concerning me. I can kill a chicken. It's not a problem, but a pig, not sure about that. This is Stack Square in Blaenavon, and these were some of the first houses to have been built here. At the moment, it's a museum run by Cadw, but what is amazing is these 3 houses are going to be the 3 houses that our families are going to be living in. Since early summer, designer Owain Williams and his team have been working to turn 3 ironworkers' cottages into authentic replicas of 1920s miners' cottages. How many rooms are our families going to have?
You see 3 cottages, obviously, for 3 families. They're 2 up, 2 down, basically. So we're looking at bedrooms upstairs, probably for extended family, a bedroom downstairs. So literally 1 living room stroke kitchen.
So it doesn't matter how big the family is, they have the space that they have to live in?
Exactly. Each room is the same size, so depending on the number of children, it's going to be a little bit cramped for some families, I believe.
Come with me into one of the cottages. It is absolutely freezing in here at the moment. Now, at the moment, the stove isn't actually lit and going, but this stove here is going to be their source of heat. It's where they're going to be cooking their food. It's going to be where they're heating water, and it's absolutely tiny. You have to imagine that there's going to be a family of 8 people in this tiny, tiny room. So look what's in the drawers. All the authentic cutlery, scales, jelly mould, beautiful. How many jellies they're going to be making, I can't imagine. Bread bin. It is absolutely fantastic in here. It really is 1927 living in here. Come with me through the back. In here is another small room. It's tiny again. Double bed in here. Obviously all the furniture. Chamber pot, ew. And then we go upstairs. Come with me, follow me upstairs. So here we are. First floor bedroom, one of the 2 bedrooms, obviously basic bed. See, this is where it all happens. Or not, considering the privacy issues. And then this is it. This is the final room. So this is all the space that they're going to have. Chamber pots ready under the bed, clothes obviously will go in there. And I think they've only got 3 sets of clothes, which should be 2 sets of working clothes, and then their Sunday best, which obviously they'll only be able to wear on a Sunday. But it is obviously very cramped, it's very, very cold, and this is all they will have. You can imagine if it's raining outside, what are they going to do? They're all going to be living in here. No TV, no mobile phones, no central heating.
When it came to furnishing our coal house cottages, there have been quite a few bits and bobs to find, and local antiques dealer Rosie Bradley has been keeping her eye out for items from the right period.
So what sort of things are we going to be seeing from the shop in the cottages?
It's not really so much of the large pieces of furniture, it's more the small items, the knickknacks, kitchen items, pots and pans and cutlery and crockery. Some decorative items, although they wouldn't have had an awful lot.
Right.
They're mainly useful items that they had in their cottages. I've got like a washboard. I mean, obviously no modern appliances there. You would have had a nice tin bath again to do your washing in and rubbed it very hard on a washboard to get it clean.
You do think, all of those clothes are going to have to go through this small board. It puts it in perspective, actually, just how hard that kind of work is, and
That's
it
right.
would have been very hard graft.
It's not just the houses that have taken time to create. Most people will know Terry Walton from Radio 2's Jeremy Vine show, and now he's brought his veg-growing expertise to the coal house gardens.
Terry, tell me about your involvement with the coal house so far.
Well, it's a rather strange involvement, really. I had a phone call back last May that they were starting this project, taking this 3 families back to 1927, and they wanted them to feed authentically from the garden using 1927 vegetables, which is a bit difficult these days because obviously vegetables move on and are more hybrids.
Yeah.
So we got together and we decided I looked into what we could grow. We could grow parsnips, Brussels sprouts, swede, leeks and kale, because they were the sort of staple diet of that period.
And do you think there's going to be enough here to feed 3 families for 3 weeks?
Well, some of the stuff's going to be a struggle. Obviously, Brussels sprouts are not. They're going to have a flavour of them. The parsnips, if we can get them big enough in those boxes, yeah, we might just get away with that. The kale will be a good staple diet. And that's going to be an interesting vegetable for modern-day families going back 80 years, because kids in particular hate kale.
I was going to say,
they hate that stuff.
Kale and Brussels sprouts, and
we got all these
children are in for a shock, I think.
That's right, the turnips as well are a very sort of brassicary, cabbagey flavour. With what we got from storage, plus what's been growing naturally in the garden, yeah, if they eke them out and don't eat too many at one go, they should basically survive.
Terry's been helped in the garden by Barry Scouse and some of the students with learning difficulties from Usk College.
Do you have any kale? Take that.
Anyone? This one?
Now usually, let me put that down out of the way. Usually what you do is you cook this, but you can actually... Yeah.
It's all snail.
It's all right. You're a vegetarian?
No.
It's not too bad, actually.
That's quite nice.
It's quite nice,
Not
yeah.
bad, yeah. I'm trying to think what it reminds me of. It reminds me of something.
Yeah.
It reminds me of spinach.
Is that
spinach?
Well
It
done.
is quite spinach.
It is
That's
spinachy.
right.
Well done. But it's got vitamins in it that they needed.
Today, it's hard to imagine what Blaenavon would have been like in its heyday, and it would be all too easy to overlook the significance of its contribution to Wales's industrial past. At the height of coal production here, there were over 160 drift mines and over 30 shafts, all working the 9 seams of coal around Blaenavon. At the town's Community Heritage and Cordell Museum, I asked Glyn Probert what life was like at the coalface.
It was very hard. I worked in there 14 years. And it was very hard, especially the lowest seam was about 2'6".
Wow.
And men had to work in that, very low. You were working on your side, actually, taking about 8 to 9 tons of coal out a shift. So it was very hard.